Good morning. How's it going, brother? Okay, let's dive in. And start just sitting comfortably, as we nearly always do. But the geometry of your seat, mix it up. The other leg forward. Something different. We want to have a wide palette, a long menu to choose from. Taking a few moments to show up. And I would invite you to try and remember in your bones the ancient lineage of sitting, of the spine being relatively upright in gravity and taking up some of the space between the ground and the sky. And let this space be saturated by breath and breath awareness without force. So there is an allowance in presence, there is an allowance in humility, there's an allowance in patience. And there's also a great power in showing up without an agenda, totally committed, fully committed to the moment. And I would also invite you, as I invite myself, to remain curious. There's nothing here that you need to know. There's a lot that we want to remember. When you were just a tiny child, no one taught you how to sit up. It's programmed. It's in the master blueprint that has something to do with evolution. The first time you sat up in gravity and the core had to come online, the pelvis had to orient itself as neutrally as possible. You had to balance, and this is a revelatory experience to return to. So let gravity be your teacher. For every degree that you push the sitting bones down into the ground, the pelvis sitting up, even the pelvis leaning a little bit forward, the belly engaging backwards, is a return to the core. Something that we feel like we have to work towards, which I think in a certain perspective is true. But the core is built to run on its own, as all of our mammalian friends will show us. Bless you. It's kind of humbling to look at a squirrel and realize that that squirrel is far more in its core than I am. And I'm in my core. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So the core is everything, but it's going to be felt in the deep belly and in the pelvis. You'll feel it as a place, a very special space within your awareness of your midline, your longitudinal axis, your source axis. And this is why I drone on about it, on and on and on, because it's such a beautiful thing to return to. So let the low front belly, way below the navel, reflect backwards to the sacrum. Let it reflect backwards to the kidneys and upwards to the kidneys. So there's an attention that is more consistent in the low band of the belly. So in other practices, maybe you're familiar with the lower dantian or the hara. This is so nourishing, so inspiring even. And let the back of the body breathe. You go ahead and change the way that you're sitting, do something different. It doesn't matter what it is. But let the back of the body breathe more consciously. So this is a lifelong practice. So the fabric of the front body tones a little bit reciprocal to the fabric of the back body opening, becoming more spacious. Like, for example, can you spread out the back of the diaphragm and spread out the kidneys without force? It's a reciprocity in the low front ribs staying closer while the kidneys relax backwards. Deeply rejuvenative and restoring, recharging your batteries. Maybe you can tell already that showing up in the core is inviting the heart, lungs, the upper branches of the body and the nervous system to unravel, to be less nervous. Maybe you can feel it in your eyes, in your tongue, the temples, the occiput. You can feel it in the length, the space in the spine. Medicine, all the time. So let's begin. Sit cross-legged. It doesn't matter which leg is in front. And let's warm the shoulders and open up the neck a little bit. So if you just take your hands in front of the heart and press the palms together, but do not flare the elbows. Keep the elbows down close to you. And as you push the palms more and more enthusiastically into each other, using pretty much all of your strength, keep the chest wide. So you might be tempted to round the shoulders and push this way. This is superficial strength. The core version is to roll the shoulders wider, a little bit more on the back. Engage the belly, sit high in the sits bones, and then push the palms into each other. Take a deep breath in and out. Push even more on the exhale. You should be shaking a little bit. And then slowly release the hands away from each other. And with one big inhale, pull the hands all the way out and make the biggest wings that you can. Open the hands, flare the fingers up a little bit, turn the biceps up. And then as you exhale, just float the hands down into your lap, palms up, anywhere on the inner thigh. Take a moment here. So breath in and out, just feeling the immediate reciprocal response. Let's do that again. So bring the palms together and push gradually and powerfully. Elbows down, shoulders wide, strong belly, hollow belly. That's a belly that is strong and empty towards the spine. Push a little bit more with an exhale. And then pull it open, spread your wings, inhale, but resist your own movement like you're moving in water or molasses. Reach way out. Now breathe in again. And this time, exhale, drop the wingtips to the ground a little bit behind you. Okay, inhale, take the wings back out and up a little higher, turning the thumbs a little higher, the wings back like you're diving into the wind. And then exhale, bring the hands together out in front of you, with the palms touching, elbows bent, elbows close together. Now way out in front, roll the shoulders back a little bit and push the palms into each other until you shake. In this resonant frequency, the vibration of the effort, while you soften the brow, is already flushing micro trauma from your system. Your lungs are sitting there right between the shoulders. Breathe easy, breathe deep, but stay engaged. Now you're going to keep squashing the midline and roll the palms open so that only the outer blades of the hands touch. And carefully continue to press the elbows even closer. You should be shivering a little bit. Now the low belly looks back to the sacrum. Turn the thumbs a little more towards the floor. Open the book even more. The forearms actually touching. Loosen the neck. Look to your left. Keep all of this pushing the midline through the little finger sides of the hands. As you look to your left, pull the right hip back a little bit more. The right kidney back a little bit more. Keep pressing the midline as you slowly turn your head across the middle over to the right. Keep pressing, keep pressing. Just give it all of your enthusiasm. Look over your right shoulder, pull the left hip and left kidney back. Open the book even more, fully supine in the wrist and in the forearm. Keep all of that as you slowly look back to the middle. Fold the palms together, keep pressing, good. And then slowly release and let your arms fly wide, and they're going to be weightless on the thermal, like the soaring bird catches the thermal. Spread your wings, lift the fingers, open the palms. Breathe. Now draw the belly fabric to the back without rounding your spine and tucking your pelvis. Take it higher. Drop the shoulder blades, you go a little higher. Turn the thumbs up as you go a little higher. Go all the way up, reach. Now drop the shoulder blades more and spread them. Turn the thumbs behind you, palms facing each other. And then turn the palms towards the ceiling, the hands turned away from each other. Lift the sky, push the earth, breathe. You should be still trembling a little bit. And slowly, in your own way, release, let it come down. And you're already feeling the great reciprocal flush, the fabulous release, circulatory, energetic, on every level. Feel as your hands land in your lap that the head is going up, born out of the release of the ballast of residual tension held in the shoulders and the neck. And then let's lay down. So come down into the shape of supine, the key of supine, and extend your legs out in front of you. It's going to give you a chance to feel even more of the reorganization, relatively quick reorganization of the upper body. You might naturally, intuitively lay your hands on your body, belly, pelvis, heart, and let the hands, like stethoscopes, allow you to listen to, feel, which are the same thing, the movement of the breath of life, prana, chi, mystery or miracle. And lay the kidneys down on the earth. It's an energetic and sometimes physical drop, the diaphragm dropping. Drop the sits bones also, which is not tucking the pelvis, it's the opposite. You might feel your lower lumbar spine get a little bit lighter and just float ever so slightly off the ground. Lay down your legs with an exhale. Let the heels fall, the calves sink. Lay down the heart, lay down the lungs, lay down the shoulders, lay down the arms. Lay down the voice, the cervical space, the neck. Lay down the cranium. Lay down the mind, both energy and organ. Lay down your blood and your visceral space. Lay down the intelligence of the gut. All of this release in trust. When you exhale, release every cell, every complex molecule. But you can get underneath that even and release the subtler realm of the quantum space, which is where formless and form dance. It is the embodiment of presence. Remember that the quantum reality is beyond space and time. That is a part of each of us in all of creation that is able to flit in and out of the tangible, be anywhere, anytime, and still absolutely connected. Bend your knees, walk your feet in towards your hips. Let's activate the back chain in supine. So as you walk your feet in, take the feet almost together and also the knees very close together. And arms down by your sides. And then we're gonna extend the right leg back out. And as the right leg goes out long, don't straighten it completely. Keep a good 6 to 8 inches under the back of the right knee and pull the shoulder blades a little closer together and down away from the head. And then lifting up into a split, like a split bridge. And you're going to start moving your body side to side from diaphragm to knees. And you start swaying high across the sky. Now the back of the right heel is pulling into the ground. You got to pull with your right hamstrings and your right buttocks down into the ground. You're moving bilaterally. And it's this side to side pulsation that makes all of this so good. Moving in this back bend, gently scrubbing all of the many layers and delaminating. Keep your knees close to the midline, moving side to side. And then at your leisure, keeping the hips up, walk the right foot in, keep moving as you do this, extend the left leg forward, a bend in the left knee, and keep going. Now you'll lean to one side sometimes so far that the shoulder you're leaning away from begins to leave the ground. This is good. Oh my goodness, breathe. And take the hips higher, drop the belly. Can you do both? Hips up, pelvis up, kidneys down, kidneys low. Breathe the kidneys. Breathe the sacrum. Keep moving, keep moving. Let the face be exceptionally beautiful. No pressure. Oh, now take both legs out long. Keep going, side to side. You got to really pull the shoulders into the ground. Keep the legs pretty close together. Your low belly needs to pull to the sacrum towards the earth as the hips go a little higher. Good. Now slowly bring your hips to the center and come down gently and press the legs out all the way. Let the hips and legs turn out. Lay your hands on your low belly and straight away with the next 3 inhalations, invite the breath to soak the sacrum like water pooling at the base of your own personal waterfall. Can you feel the response systemically, globally, all the way to the temples, to the eyes, to the scalp, and beyond? You feel the spaciousness in the soles of your feet right now. And can you feel the parallel, the connection between the soles of the feet and the pelvic floor? Singing together, open and awake. The tail unfurling, relaxing, playful, curious. The heart blossoming with the tops of the lungs. Beautiful. Bend your knees, walk your feet in towards your hips, creatively come up into sitting, the shape of sitting. So we play with these 7 shapes, 7 shape keys and human shapes that are portals into movement. So in sitting, let's get into the bilateral pulse. We're going to start moving side to side and rocking the boat. It doesn't matter which leg is in front, we'll change in just a little while. But go slow enough. And remember that to engage and slow yourself down is a level of quality of commitment, of devotion even. In the core, the layers of the torso, the lower half of the torso, the external and internal obliques, the deeper layer of transversus abdominis. There's so much more than that. The entire body is online. You start laying a tricep up against a knee. You can go that far and pull against the knee to come back out, involving more of the side body, more of the back body. You can freely let the head look about, look around and be aware of your environment. And where you feel a stretch, you must engage. So if you're feeling, for example, the side belly on the back, the QL, you've got to turn on that same side buttocks to turn that stretch sensation into action, into support, function. So really strong through the entire body, moving as if you're moving in water, but then also you're throwing the earth side to side with your hips, moving your pelvis and the earth to the right, takes the upper body to the left, and throwing the planet lovingly to the left, the upper body swings to the right. So finding your own variations, your own colors, textures, your own experience, your own articulation is really the creative force. Your own personal dance. Oh my goodness. Keep the glutes on. Belly close to the spine, everybody. Don't tuck the pelvis. When you lean onto one sitting bone, stay on the front of that sitting bone a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to switch the way the legs are crossed and start to add the hands. So now we're going to load the shoulder. Keep the elbow in close to the body. Also, keep the weight off the pinky side of the wrist. You should have most of the weight on the radial side, the thumb index side of the wrist. The leg in front can set like this. So I got my left leg in front right now. So my left foot can, when I lean to my right, only to my right. The left knee's up, the left foot's down. That's an option. It doesn't happen so much with the inside leg leaning the other way. So your front leg will set when you lean to the right, left leg is in front, or to the left, right leg is in front. Oh, now you start to turn the head towards the earth as you come in closer to the ground. You can also use your free hand to assist an overloaded shoulder. But maybe touch the forehead to the earth. The closer the hand is to the pelvis, the more challenging it is for the upper body, so be aware of that. Keep your belly close to you, strong. The low front ribs pull to the kidneys. You're breathing fully, the tail and sacrum. We could just do this all day long. You're like, speak for yourself, man. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we're going to do this thing we've been playing with lately where we're going to do two hands and twist. So check this out. As I go to my left, as an example, it could be to your right. Both hands are down, but I'm going to turn to look behind me. Okay, maybe touch the brow. And then I'll go over to the other side, do the same thing, look behind you. And you want to pull the shoulder blades together. Neither of the shoulder heads go to the floor. It's going to be mostly the backhand, one further back. Looking behind you, it's active. Remember, everywhere you feel a stretch, you must engage. Imagine that same squirrel stretching its hamstrings. It'd be like a frightening sight. Squirrel doing a stretch. No need. Okay, just scratch that remark. Animals don't stretch. They move. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, just another moment or two. You can switch the way your legs are crossed again. Isn't this like amazing? Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to come up and sit relatively still for a moment. And now you are deeply stirred. Deeply stirred. And all we really have the responsibility to do here is to just witness, which is to feel, to see, to sense. And see if you have the embodied discernment to distill from everything that you're feeling that which is benevolent and source serving, while everything else falls away with compassion and understanding. Good, everyone, let's come up into squat, and it can be any squat. It can be asymmetrical or symmetrical. So this fifth key, this is one of the most human, one of the most beneficial for our modern life. Right now, you're already feeling the traction of your low back. You're feeling the full flexion of the hips and knees. Active feet, grab onto the clay of the earth with your feet. And any kind of movement that you can find within whichever variation of the squat you are in. Squats are super versatile. So the asymmetrical squat, and on the ball of the back foot, all of the front foot. There's a lot of movement here, especially if you put your hands down and very carefully please track the direction of your thighs and the foot below the thigh so that they always point in the same direction as often as you can, especially when you're load bearing with a deep flexion of the knee. You can turn around and do the other side just by spinning or pivoting, we call it. Oh. So be very conscious of all of as much of the experience as possible, so that the places that are outside of our awareness, as you turn around again in an asymmetrical squat, you start to bring back into the field of awareness more of your space, your inner and outer space. Now slide the forward foot further forward and try turning the back leg across the midline. Okay, now if you have tight plantar feet, this can really get into the little toe here. For me, it's the right. And then you can just kind of lay the knee down and have a seat. And you end up kind of like you would like in a cow face pose in yoga. And then lift right back up into the squat. This is called the toe breaker. No, I'm just kidding. Turn around to the right. You okay, Rob? Turn around to the right, or sorry, to your other side. Make sure you have a long asymmetrical squat. So remember, to protect the knees, you need to really grab on with your toes, have very active feet, and it will support the knee. On top, your back leg is going to turn across the midline, and you're going to sit down for a moment. And then see if you can come back up into the squat. Let's do this a few times. Turning around, it's just mobility work. Spinning to an asymmetrical squat. Find your breath, everyone. Slide the forward foot out in front. Dip the back knee across the midline underneath. Sitting. Come back up into the squat carefully. Use your hands. Make sure the toes tuck under properly. Turn around. Just keep going. Another round. So this is way easier off of a mat. If you haven't figured that out already, your toes are somewhere else. Oh. So the intelligence of the joints. Yeah, very nice, everyone. The intelligence of the joints is being deeply informed by this kind of work. I'm going to do a bonus round because I'm just really enjoying this. And it's a dance. Wow. Okay. So also just practicing getting up and down on off the earth. Now let's have a seat and take the legs out wide. Not super wide, but wide-ish. And knees bent like we did in the split bridge. Toes turn up. So here we want to practice zero or neutral rotation of the hip relative to pelvis. So the toes and knees look up. Lean in on one side without straightening that leg. Sweep across the middle to the other side and then come back out. Now, when you lean in to one side, it's a bit of a forward bend mixed with a side bend. Go through the middle, and when you get to the other leg, you're in that same side bend, forward bend, and come up every time. Reverse your direction also every time. Now I want to pull the heels down into the ground, pull the sitting bones down into the ground the entire time, especially over the loaded leg, so that we avoid the stretch. Turn the buttocks on. All the way around, really the whole lower torso is on the trunk of the tree, is flexible and strong. So feel the 4 points of contact as 2 sits bones and 2 heels. Now, if you want more, when you lean over one leg, push the same side hand beyond the foot. You come back up, lean back in on that side, push beyond the foot, go through the middle, push the other hand, and come up. This adds a load to the entire thing that I'm sure you can feel. Where the stretch is, you need more strength. Please understand. Good, we're gonna come up slowly now. Lift your knees with your hands. Take your hands, cup the knees, and fold the legs in, sitting cross-legged, either leg in front. Breathe easy. And as often as possible, without force, allow the breath to very gently pass through the nose. If that's not possible, then we breathe through the mouth. And then let this breath be not just the focus of the physical breath in the cranium, but the entire body breathing. Each inhalation is the deepest saturation. Each exhalation, there's a reciprocal emptiness that is also somehow feeling deeply saturated. All right. So let's return to a squat. And go ahead and lift the hips into the key of folding. Now, I take the feet wide at first, like twice as wide as the pelvis, and hang the head down, bend the knees quite a lot, and start straight away with bilateral pulsations, moving side to side. Now, if you put your palms down and grab on with your fingertips, and your feet, you're grabbing on with your feet with your toes. And now you're a playful monkey on top of a giant beach ball called Earth. And when you move side to side, you're using both hands and both feet to throw the earth lovingly side to side. This will change the tone of your body. It will change the intention of the function. It will deepen it. It will ground you. It will really put it all together in a way that suddenly every fiber of your being is on board for this. So let's make it even more complex. Let's say you can really hold your breath. Don't do that, but you're at the bottom of the ocean and you're a monkey and you're throwing the seabed side to side, the whole planet, while the water, the heavy water, resists you and embraces you. So here we are, this deep, deep engagement, able to breathe this water, the low belly lifting towards the sky, towards the rounded lumbar spine, moving the ground side to side. Now let the feet start to dance. And all this means is that now, as you continue side to side with the hips and the spine, that the feet break loose into slow foot loops. It's just the heel pops up. You turn a hip in or out. Your head begins to turn from side to side as you begin to free yourself. The head not bound by the movement, but inspired and trusting the movement. Push the hands down more and more into the ground, like you could somehow lift up into handstand, and you'll feel much more in the core. You can bend the knees more, dropping the hips towards the key of squatting. And you can drop a squat in if you want to. Squats might just show up. 30 seconds like this, bilateral in the key of folding. Some of the best medicine for the low back, for the whole system. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn a quarter turn to one side, either your left or your right. Now you have an asymmetrical stance that we call the key of crouching. So the knees bend and we shift now forward and back more. Forward and back. Now you're pushing the earth forward to move your hips back. And you're pulling the ground back like you're going to leap forward to take the upper body forward. Try rotating. Try keeping your footwork as you do this. Try changing the stance. Turn around when you need to, pivoting 180 degrees to the other side so you don't fry one side. Love the breath, everyone. It's nice to hear your breath in the space. Breathe, let it flow through you. Try not to control it, just allow for it. Feed your cells. Oh, now turn around to the other side, and we're going to add the navigational key of crossing the midline. So you're going to keep turn your feet until the front leg is crossed over the back leg, and now move. Mostly the pelvis shifting between the feet. There's all kinds of stuff that can show up, right? Try to get on the top or the top of the back foot or the top of the front foot using your hands. Fold, find a seat. You can turn around to the other side and you keep turning until you've crossed the midline. Oh my goodness. Loosen the neck. Soften the eyes. And once again, turn out halfway, have a seat. Yeah. So. No comment. Of course, go for it, but. This feeling of being deeply soaked, we've been lovingly, jokingly calling it pumped lately. So juicy. Feel the absorption of the blood and the movement of the lymphatic, the enlivening of every bone and fiber, the energy of the body is now expressing itself more fully because we're opening the channels up and we're deeply engaging. There's all kinds of amazing science right now, intramuscular engagement, intramuscular training, for lack of a better description, pendiculation is the best medicine. Balancing hormones, losing weight, and toning the gut, both the internal and the external gut. Awakening intuition, it's endless. Healing the hips and the knees. All right, so let's come up to the key of standing. Take your time, make your transition conscious. So just a little bit more prep work before we move into the final two sequences. Look down at your feet and turn the feet parallel. And in a natural stance, a neutral stance are going to be relatively close together. And knees are unlocked, something you can see and mostly you want to be able to feel. And lay your hands on your body, on your pelvis, maybe on your upper legs. And let's get into asymmetrical. So drop your left foot back just a little bit. And then we coil, which means we come down, we drop our gravity center, so we bend the knees. And it's like a tiny cat stance. We come down into the pelvis. And now we're going to pull the ground back with our feet to move forward into almost a back bend. And then push the earth forward with your feet to slide back. And your whole body is toned because everything is committed as a technology of tonality, awareness. Without the water, the metaphor becomes real. So moving the earth. Now as you come forward onto the front leg, you can lean back a little bit and pull the shoulder blades together and have some extension. So most of the weight is on the front leg, back leg very lightly. Pick up the back foot for a moment and stay. And then continue pushing the ground forward with your feet to move back. There's your cat stance, looking down. He's just giving you ideas. So I like to get the arms involved, push my way back, pull my way forward like you're climbing a tree, and you're climbing down. You kind of look where you're going, pull, and sort of pull, look up, very strong, and then push back. Yeah, now what you're going to do is like turn the front leg, which is your right leg, turn it out, but continue. Now you've got to turn the knee from the hip to point to the right where the toes are. And try turning the front leg in across the midline. Continue now, turn the knee in, the hip in as much as you can, pulling forward especially. Legs are getting totally conked here in a good way. Now to change sides, we're just going to switch the legs. So right foot back a little, left foot leading. Let's add a piece. Maybe you were already doing this. As you move forward and back, instead of the pelvis moving on a linear track, make it a long oval, a long elliptical movement, clockwise or counterclockwise, which is going to challenge your balance. And then you have to start turning the front leg in or out to help laterally stabilize, changing the direction of your orbit at any time. So like it might be easier for you to turn your front leg in and move counterclockwise as seen from above. Slower and stronger, half speed and twice as strong. You can turn the front leg out, and it might help you in a clockwise rotation. Moving the earth elliptically with your feet. One or two more orbits, go slower and stronger. Really slow, quarter speed, thrice as strong. Wow. Okay, now let it all come to neutral where we started. Looking once more down at your feet, letting your feet be close and parallel. Every joint unlocked and attentive. Let the breath touch everything. This last piece, now we'll start to move side to side. So the hips are moving. Keep your head for a little while over the middle. The head is going to kind of like an inverted, it's like the top of a pendulum. The third eye is just an anchor point. You're swinging the pelvis from the third eye. And if you bend your knees more, you can move a lot more. You can really kick the hips out. So the pendulum swinging. And as you move side to side, you're also self-resisting. This is just intelligence in your tone, changing your viscosity. And you start to look around as you do this. So once again, the head is freed by the movement. It's not bound by the movement. Now let the footwork come in. You're still moving side to side, but now the leg turns. And you've got these fun sort of slow motion James Brown movements where it's like dance, the line between dance and whatever we're doing is non-existent. And you want to cross the midline, you can turn to one side and keep turning to the right or left until the front leg is across the back. And you bend the knees and you slide, the pelvis moves between the feet on that sort of diagonal. And to come out, you want to turn all the way around the other way. It's more than 180 until you cross the midline. Crossing the midline, I find, tends to be very relaxing for the nervous system as the two hemispheres of the brain take a little space from each other and likewise get long, better. So move slowly, move, engage the movement. And then turning out enough to come to neutral, bringing the feet in closer together. You'll probably keep moving a little bit because that movement, like the shaman's drum, it moves energy. It invites the movement of energy without force. So this is evident all the time, like in our breath. The breath is moving energy all the time. How aware of that are we? Let the heart thunder, let the heart roll in its drum, in its koto beat, big koto drums, the Japanese music, very powerful, striking the drums with all the strength of their body. Give your heart room. So here's your Tai Chi right here. Very subtle. It's all Tai Chi. It's all Qigong. It's all dance, Kung Fu, something Fu. It's right there. There's this tone. This opens up. And notice I'm pulsing every once in a while. So you change directions, you might like bounce. It's like this recognition of the speed can change. It's a fast burst where everything just fires and it's a change of direction. Kind of like you see the street dancers do the pop rocking. They have this beautiful articulation of every single joint. Play with that for a moment. So it's kind of like a sudden stop and then restart. One, and it's all from the core. Wow. Beautiful, everyone. Beautiful. Fabulous. Just come back to neutral. The key of standing. Just kind of shake it, loosen it up. Okay. So we get into the first of two guided sequences that are going to take us a little while to get used to, as always, but we'll repeat them and come back around. So do the best you can. So we're going to start in a squat. So coming down, and this is going to be a symmetrical squat. Now all that means is that you're doing the same thing on both sides, and the legs can be forward like I have them or turned out. And this is going to be the standing and the squatting or what we return to. But take a moment here after everything we just did and before we get into the sequence and just kind of play around, even if it's a few moments of relative peace. Now, if the heels are not down, that's fine. It takes, a long time actually to delaminate the lower compartment of the leg. As you can have your hands on the floor and balance and sink your heels over time. And what we're going to actually do is work the shoulders in the back line. So I'm going to move forward and adjust the camera. And what you're going to do, you're going to turn and orient yourself so you can walk backwards and not run into anything. So take the hands, so go from your squat, very consciously take a hand back, turn the hands back and out, and you're going to move side to side in your squat. As you move side to side, take small steps back with your hands, further and further back. And as you go, lift the hips. Keep going, lift the hips. Now, if you go far enough back, and you don't have to go this far back, your toes leave the floor, and you're on the backs of the heels, your hips go higher, and now you're in bilateral pulsation, reverse plank, which is really fun. Don't lock your knees, and then start walking forward. Take your time. Take your time. Pull yourself with your hamstrings, with your glutes, to the squat. Good. All the way into the squat if you can. Good. And what we're going to do is slowly stand. Slow. Buttocks, hamstrings, belly, everything on, coming all the way up to stand. Then balance on your left leg. Pick up your right knee, chamber the right leg. And as the knee comes high, reach it across the midline and just touch the ball of the right foot across the midline. Yeah, stay here for a moment. Bend the left knee. You can kind of play in this for a second. Then what we're going to do is shift away to the back leg and reverse that. Pick the right knee back up again. And then uncross and just kind of set it down where you started, but turn a little bit to your right. Good. Then step the left foot out in front of you into the cat stance. kind of traveling over to your right, most of the way on the right. Good. Now from here, in your cat stance, drop the left heel and bring your left hand down to the floor between your feet. Now while you're here, slide your left foot just behind your right foot and drop into an asymmetrical squat, right foot leading. Stay here for a moment, so a small respite. Then check this out. You're going to turn your left 180 and lift the hips into a very short stance, crouch or fold, asymmetrical. Stay here with longish legs and play, rocking forward and back. Yeah. Yummy. Now this next piece, lean forward, put the hands down, like you're gonna jump back like into a plank. Then your left knee, and then extend your right leg way out behind you. And then slide your hands back, fingertips back, and drop the right foot way back. Sort of like warrior two legs. And take your hands inside your left foot. Pick up the entire right side of the body, the right hip, the right kidney. Maybe the right hand floats off the floor for a moment. Oh, kind of a side lunge. And then what we're going to do is turn a quarter turn to your right into wide legs. And then drop into a side squat on the left leg like this. Now the right knee is bent, the toes towards the ceiling. You're pulling the right heel down and get your left elbow inside your left leg and turn the left leg out. In fact, you can take both forearms against the inner thighs near the knees and pull the legs into the resisting arms to engage the adductors to go beyond stretch to activation. And then all you're going to do is put your hands out in front of you. Slide your right foot in to the squat. Pre-engage to stand, and then go ahead and launch all the way up. And pause at standing. Standing is the return. Everybody okay? So here we are. Unlock the knees. Give yourself a little time to recover, or to, in other words, to drop residual tension. Feel the groin space, the inner upper thigh, releasing backwards while the knees bend a little forward and the low belly hugs the deeper belly, very gently. Drop your weight down into the core, shift your weight into your right leg, and then chamber the left knee high. Bring your knee across the midline. Look where you're going to touch your foot. Just touch the ball of the foot to the floor and cross and stay there for a second. It's not a small shift of the weight between the feet. A little bit of movement. Now lean onto the back leg. Pick up the left leg, rechamber. And then just set it down where you started, or turn to your left a bit. Turn the left leg out even more, and then step the right foot forward into a cat stance. Set the right hand down somewhere between the front foot and the back foot. Drop your eyes. Then slide your right foot behind your left into an asymmetrical squat, left foot leading. Stay here for a moment. Again, very much aware of residual tension in the moment and how to release while we're in it. Turning to your right 180, lift the hips to a short asymmetrical fold or a short crouch. Here at this point, the shape of a crouch and a fold really blend. It's all folding really. Rocking a little forward and back. And then lean onto the hands in front of you, bend the right knee, and extend the left leg way, way back. Drop it like warrior two legs. Take the hands inside the right foot and lift the entire left side of the body while you bend the right knee. And let the left heel not touch. Just reach it back and down. Unlock the left knee. Then turn, quarter turn to your left, everyone. Drop into a side squat over the right leg. Use your hands. Take care of your knees. Right here for a moment. Do what we did on the other side as a variation. Turn the right leg out, the toes and knee to the side. Take your forearms up against the inner thigh near the knee. Push against the leg and hold the legs in against the midline. And this push-pull harmonizes, and you go beyond the stretch of the left abductors to something altogether better. And then slowly move the hands out of the way. Slide your left foot into your right foot in a squat. Drop as deep in the squat as you're comfortable with. Find the buttocks and the hamstrings and really grab onto the earth with your feet and float up to standing. Do what you need to do to regulate, which means self-release. Again, releasing residual tension, residual patterns with all kinds of love and understanding. Free the breath, free the breath. Usually we're inhaling more than we're exhaling, so spend a little bit more time, another half a beat on the exhale, and the low belly drawing back to assist right at the end of the exhale. Okay, so here we go. Balance on your left leg. Pick up the right knee, cross over the midline. Use your arms, get the whole upper body going so you articulate balance and create freedom. Step across the midline and touch. Then pull away from you, go up, reach inward, set it down. You're going to turn your right a little bit. Then take a step, turn your right leg out. Take your left foot in front, cat stance. Most of the weight on the right leg. Make sure the right knee and the right foot pull in the same direction. Bring your left hand down inside, drop the left heel, and then slide your left foot behind your right foot into an asymmetrical squat with your right foot knee. Move around in this for moments. It's a great release. So good to open up the soles of the feet too. We're going to turn to our left 180, lift the hips at the same time, and you're in a short asymmetrical fold. Now lean forward onto the hands, bend the left knee, fly the right leg way back and drop the foot, sliding your hands back deep in the stance. Take the hands inside the left leg, lift the right side body, bend the left knee, unlock the back knee. Let's sink, so like a giant rubber band is around the left knee and the right heel, and you're bracing out against that strength, just strong enough to stretch the rubber band. A quarter turn to your right, side squat over the left leg. Oh, yeah. And then slide the right foot in next to the left foot, and you're in a squat. Pre-engage before you stand, and you'll float right up. That's my sales pitch anyway. All the way up. Unlock everything. Move for a moment. Your thing. Yes. Let the breath roll through you. No resistance. Gush it out of the mouth. Every pore, every bone is breathing. Don't hold back. We're moving so much energy. And it's moving us. Okay, balance on the right leg. Pick up the left knee. See this coiling? Like you're not just like, okay, over here, pick up my left knee. That's cool. But drop in, shift your weight more consciously to the right leg. Pick up the left knee. Reach across the midline. We're going to just touch and bounce. Touch, lift it back up again. To where you started, turn your 45 to your left. As you put the left leg down, turn it out, and step your right foot forward into cat stance. Nice. Dig in. Strong belly. Try not to tuck the pelvis. Scoop the low belly to the spine. And then put the right hand down between the feet. Slide the right foot behind the left into an asymmetrical squat as you come down. Turn around to your right 180, lift the hips, and you're in a short crouch, longish legs, working the hamstrings, but also finding your dance here.
Synchronistic knee popping, that's pretty cool. Lean forward onto your hands, extend your left leg way back, and then drop the left foot deep. Take the right hand inside the right leg. The left heel is floating, the left knee is bent, and then reach the left heel down and back, the right knee forward. Lift the entire left side of the body. Drop the right sitting bone, easy across the brow. And then a quarter turn to your left. Slide over onto the right leg in a side squat and use your hands, track your knees. Slide your left foot next to your right foot into a squat. Stay for a moment. And then have a seat. Have a seat and sit cross-legged with the right leg in front. Boy. Okay. Another sequence before we finish. Just take a few more moments here, landing. Let's do this first round nice and slow. We're gonna lean a little to your left, just a little bit, gaining some momentum, and then you're gonna lean into your right knee. Right shoulder to right knee. Just stay here for a second. Maybe turn the head towards the floor and touch the right fingertips to the left temple, encouraging and release in the neck. And then as you come up, look over to your left side, put both hands down. And as you press in, you're gonna put your left temple on the floor or just off the floor. Now set your right leg, knee up and the right foot down. This is the right leg is in front, it can set. Now keep the shoulder blades together and lift up a little bit away from the floor. And if you can, lift your left hip off the ground too. Okay, good. Now from here, we're gonna just lift up and take the left leg back into a crouch. So we got the right leg leading. So let's do that whole thing from the start. So what I really want to convey as you repeat it too, you're going to find your flow. Right leg is in front. So let me just show real quick. I'll speed it up. So you're here, and you're coming over here, and you're going to pick yourself up, right? If you can, when you come up first, then lift the hip, and then go back, and you crouch. Then we're going to do this bit. You're going to jump and spin and cross in a crouch, okay? And then we're going to end up in a cow face. Or something. Right leg in front. Lean the right shoulder to knee. And then come up, look to your left, both hands down. Hold the shoulder blades together. Come down low. And then come up a little. Lift the left hip off the floor. Keep the left shoulder really far away from the ground. Lift all the way up. Step your left leg back into a crouch, right leg leading. It's a long crouch. Now, a bird's eye view above you, you can see your back side, and you're going to turn counterclockwise, pivoting on the right foot, taking the left leg all the way around across the midline, a crossing lunge or crouch. Right leg is still forward. And then slide the left knee underneath, right knee stacked on top, like a cow face. We're going to lean into it and kind of sweep across the midline a little bit. Back and forth, kind of rocking the boat, but moving the earth side to side. It's very strong. Now, turn to your left, put your hands back down. Set your right leg again. Now, from here, extend your left leg out from underneath you, toes tucked under. Okay, good. Lift up. Then from here, balance on your left hand. Bring your left leg and wrap it around in front and sit. Left leg will be in front. is fun. Remember that game Twister? But with one person. Oh. Keep freeing the cranium and the sacrum from each other as they take space. The spine being tractions in between. Lean your left shoulder into your left knee. Now you can look down, you can look forward, you can look up. It's up is great because you can support the cranium with your left hand. Just trying different things. Variation is the spice. And then we're going to come up, and then over on your right side, put both hands down. Lean into it. Pull the right shoulder away from the ground as you drop the right temple to the ground. Shoulder blades close as possible. And then as you come up, lift the right hip, and then hop up, take the right leg back, and you're in a crouch, left leg leading. So the strength takes a while, and you need alternative complementary practices. So you need to modify, maybe just really get creative in how you load, how you need to get from A to B, so to speak. Now see yourself from above. You're going to turn clockwise, pivoting on the ball of the left foot, all the way around, 180, the right leg crossing the midline in the back. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy that transition. Then slide the right knee underneath the left into your cross-legged seat, like cow face. Lean into one side, sweep across the middle to the other side, and come up a few times. And please go slow enough and engage enough. So any raw exposure, any unsupport, a stretch or a joint, you need to activate locally. That sensation is asking for more tone and a better alignment. And then you come up, turn to your right, put your hands down, drop in, pull the shoulder blades, pull the shoulders, and set the left leg, and then extend the right leg, toes under, lift up into like a half side plank. Bring your right leg out, wrap it around, and sit. Spend a few conscious moments releasing residual tension in the head, neck, and shoulders. So release the hinges of the jaw, release the molars on both sides, up and down. Float the cheekbones, open the temples, and let the outer corners of the eyes get really soft, like feathers. Let the shoulders drape, they spread and they fall. It's kind of like wearing a cape or a shawl. The chest and the upper back are equally wide. So let's do this sequence twice more through and then we'll rest, okay? So right leg is in front. We're gonna lean right shoulder to right knee. And then come up and both hands on the floor over to your left, set the right leg, come down low, and as you come up, lift the left hip if you can, lift all the way out, left leg back into a crouch, right leg forward. Find this just a sketch, it's an artist's sketch, okay? Loosen the neck. Now, seen from above, you're gonna turn counterclockwise, pivot on the right foot, spin all the way around, drop the left leg across the midline, keep moving. Slower and stronger, often. Slide the left knee underneath the right. Lean into it and across it a couple of times. Strong everywhere, open everywhere. And then as you sweep to your left, turn to your left, put your hands down, set the right leg, lean into it, let the left leg extend, lift up, hover on the left hand, bring the left leg around, wrap it around, and it ends up in front. Lean left, shoulder to left knee. Come up, turn to the right, both hands down. Set the left leg, pull the shoulders, especially the right, away from the ground. Coming up, lift the right hip if you can. Turn, set the right leg back in a crouch. Seen from above, you'll pivot on the left foot and turn clockwise. You swing the right leg all the way around behind you across the midline. Slide the right knee underneath the left knee on top. Sweeping forward and across the midline. The bilateral play and folding is deeply therapeutic, especially when it's engaged and resisted. And the next time you swing to your right, look to the right, put the hands down, set the left leg, push, which is also a pull, extend the right leg, lift up, balance on the right hand, unlace, and wrap the right leg around in front. So we'll do the sequence one more time, and I'm gonna throw an option in when we get there. Last time, everyone, just take a moment and release anything that is obvious. So you're going to feel a lot, and notice the parallels in working the hips and working the shoulders at the same time. The four corners of the torso really talk to each other, and they are bound together, and they also release together. And feel the joy in the neck. Okay, so here we go. We're going to lean into the right knee, right shoulder to knee. Strengthen the left buttocks, the left leg, the left side. Come up, look left, both hands down, set the right leg. Pull the shoulder blades together. Go ahead and lift up, step out, left leg back, in a crouch, right leg leading. Now, slide your right hand, here's the option. Slide your right arm behind the right calf, the right shoulder under the right knee. Turn the right leg out and sort of using the hands, you can slide towards a variation of like a split. Just so long as you're strong enough to not stretch the hamstrings. They just feel empowered. And come back up, pushing down, close the stance. Untangle your arms, see yourself from above, pivoting on the right foot, turn counterclockwise, cross the midline with the left leg back. Slide the left knee underneath the right, you're in the cow face. Move across the field, side to side a few times. Keep the belly hollow. Orient to the pelvis. You can turn to your left, both hands down, set the right leg. Slide the left leg out, toes under, lift up. Balance on the left hand. Unlace the left, wrap it in front, and sit. Last time, lean left shoulder to left knee. And come on up. Both hands to the right as you push, set the left leg. And as you come up, lift out. Left leg in front as you step your right leg back into a crouch. Now, step the left hand behind, left arm behind the left leg, sliding under the knee. Slide both feet simultaneously away from each other, using the hands to take weight. And you open up into a split-ish shape. Very strong through the left hamstrings, pulling the left heel down into the floor. Use your hands and rock side to side here for a moment. And then carefully lift the hips. All core, bring your feet closer together, and then spinning as seen from above clockwise on the left foot. Bring the right leg around across the midline. Breathe. Slide the right knee under the left. Leaning in and sweeping the field just a couple of times. And then as you turn to your right, put both hands down, set the left leg, extend the right leg, lift up, balance on the right hand, bring the right leg out in front, and sit. Pause for a moment. And let's go ahead and lie down and rest, everyone. Resting. Very consciously into the key of supine. Very special orientation and gravity. We spend so much of our life resting Let it be so conscious. So push the heels a little further downstream. And also let the exhalation tease the heels a little further away from the back of the cranium. And for a little while, the heart is still elevated. Let it be. Give it space and celebrate that. You feel the internal shift, relaxation of the rib basket and the lungs that give the heart more room. The heart, the pericardium is all fire. Consider the heart, a long life, if we're lucky, of such devotion, the tone and the strength, the attention, the presence of the heart, physically and energetically. It is fully committed to having more and more experience. And let this be an inspiration for the rest of your embodiment, every cell outside the heart, to tune in to that lighthouse, to be inspired and to show up equally, each cell in its own role, in its own way, just as devoted, just as powerful, just as open as the heart itself. Perhaps you can feel your own personal shard of the sun burning deeply in the core belly. This is another aspect of heart. And if you can feel it, and if you can breathe it, if you can fan that fire in the belly, in the deep pelvis, the core engine speaks to the heart organ and says to the heart, I've got you. You are deeply loved and supported. Take your time returning to the flow of your day through the shape of sitting. And as always, everyone, it is an honor to share this practice. Thanks for showing up the way that you do. And blessings in your day, in your flow. I'll see you soon.